Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Robert's train set again. So this is getting ridiculous, isn't it? Update number 15, and I'm not even halfway there. I wouldn't have thought yet. I've just got me tea though. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And although you might think by looking through the conservatory window that it's not too bad out there, the sun's coming out, it's awful. It's really blowy, and it keeps schooling over, loads of rain. I mean, we've had 1.7 mil today, and I think we had about 5 or 6 mil yesterday, and it's coming in patches. So looks lovely like this now, and then you go, lots of people have got caught out, you know, going out thinking it's nice. Luckily I've been quite lucky, so quite happy. Anyway, don't want to take too long on this because I think it could be a long video. So up to now I've been fairly happy, and you know, it's partly what I did for a living, the joinery and all this. Interestingly, the system I'm using for changing the points with the wires, Budget Model Railways have just done one today, which is the 16th of April, and his is far simpler than mine, and maybe even better, I don't know. But I did make a comment and asked him if the one that the way he'd done it, he could bend the rods, which he sort of thought probably not. But what I was really impressed is, with a big channel like his, he really answered me very quickly, you know, my comment, and I thought that was really, really good. And not all the big channels do that. I think Charlie Bishop at Chadwick does. He's very good, you know, with all the amount of comments he gets. So well done to these big channels that reply to you. You know, we're little men. It's nice to get a reply, and I always reply to all my comments that I get. So this is where I'm out of my depth in a way, and hopefully with the rest of these videos you can all help me. You that watch me have got far more experience in this bit than I have. So as you'll see in here in a moment, I've got most of this track stuck down. There's a little bit here that still needs doing, so I'll show you how I did mine. And as I say, I've not ever done this before. I've always pinned my track. All upstairs is pinned and everything. And am I liking it? I am actually. Along with doing the, you know, doing the sleeper grime and all that. So some more on that. And then really a little bit on, I'd still do my walks down the front, so I've got a few photos of that and a little bit of video to show the waves lapping onto the shore. Lovely, it's really peaceful. And some other bits. So but yes, from now on I think I'm going to need quite a bit of help, I think. So let's get into the video, shall we? And I'm still getting a few more subscribers, so thank you if you're new, and obviously if you've been with me for a while. So cheers. Well everybody, with the weather still a bit very windy and not very nice, as you can see I am getting on well with gluing all this track down, and all this is done. And if I swivel round a little bit, hopefully you can see that surprisingly I'm also doing the same in the fiddle yard, and you can just see that there are now 2 tracks that need to be glued down. So I'm going to do a little bit on doing this my way. You know, we all have our own ways, but I think if I aim at some locos there, I just need to correct something I said, I think in my last one, or it might have been the one before. No, the last one I think. I did say that Hornby's fish plates didn't tell you that they were fish plates. Well, I was wrong. So if I bring out this new packet, you can see it clearly says on the back of it that they're fish plates. And I do need to open this packet because I'm probably going to need some for what we're about to do. So sorry Hornby, I just they weren't big. They weren't as big as on the Pico ones. That's all I can say. So now that's sorted, let's go and have a look and see what we're going to do. So you can see that I do have a bit of extra track here, and I want that because at the end of this one, up by the window, there's a little short bit that I put on, and also so this should be made up with a double straight, Hornby double straight, set track, a single track, and this little bit of extra at the end, and I don't want that because then I'd need 3 feeders. So I'm going to cut this to suit here, and I've already, if I pan in a little bit, marked the length. So I'm going to cut that with my Dremel, which I'm finding great, absolutely super. So I'm going to cut that to length and we'll prepare this ready. So having cut that piece of track to length with the Dremel, and it's a dream, it really is a dream, I do then tend to check if the fish plates are okay. So give them a visual check and see if there's any damage. And then when I put a new one on, I just check it with this bit of rail, and just to see that it grips and it's reasonably okay, which I've done with both of these in fact. So that's all good, and the next thing to do is just to make sure you've got your drawing pins in. Now I use these to locate the track after I've painted it, because when you paint it you tend to lose your lines that I'm working to. And just to make sure I know where the drawing pin should be, I put a pencil line each side of the sleeper, and then I know that the hole should be there and they should go into that. So I mark all those, because if you don't, it's very difficult to remember where you put the pins in. Now if you are using Pico track, which doesn't have any holes in, after drilling a hole with my drill, with the very small bit in that is a tight fit for the drawing pin, I then just use a hand drill, this one, so just drill through the sleeper so that the pin will go through, because I find the pin is very hard to push through the very tight hole. So that's what I do, and that's what I've done all the way through here, and it seems to have worked quite well. So the next part of the job is to really take the track up and then paint the bed with the acrylic paint. So that's what we'll do next. So if you remember, the only feed to the track is through these droppers that I put in a little while ago now, isn't it? And in a way these caused me a little bit of a problem, because I had to line the track up to where the droppers were, and if I run along a bit, where they connected up with the point here using my little mirror, they had a kink in them. So what I've actually done is I've realigned this track here with a slight curve on, which won't hurt, it's a fiddle yard after all, and it, you know, it's going to work. So remarked my inclines for where to paint and put some new drawing pins in. Now this is Pico track, and I had to use both drills to do it, but it's worked well. So now it's a case of working along and taking out the drawing pins with my trusty letter opener, which is far more useful than for just opening letters. I must admit, it's really doing a great job, this is. So we'll come back when I show you my paint. So everybody, as you've just seen, I did mix up this paint into this little tub that I've got, which I do clean out every time I use it, and with my selection of brushes here I've done the track bed in essence, haven't I? And I've also painted the little hole for where the point changing mechanism will come through, because it would glint, I think. I don't have a problem, but I've obviously got this piece of track with my droppers on, the Oni droppers. And because I don't want to use my rail match sleeper grime on it, because it's nasty stuff in here, I always do this outside in the on the patio. So this is really getting low, and I'm not even sure I've got enough to do the rest of this bit of track. So I've made the decision, whether rightly or wrongly, to use my burnt umber. I'll go back a bit. My burnt umber to paint this out, because hopefully it will go all matte, which is the idea of doing the grime, so you don't have the shiny plastic. So we'll see how this works. I obviously cleaned off as much as I could after doing it, because I got it all over the rails as well, off the top of the rails, so a bit of tissue. So what am I going to do now? Now, what I don't like doing is wasting me paint. Albeit that this tub that I bought, this tube, has done all that you've seen so far. And the fact that I've got 2 or 3 more of these, I think I've got a bit too much. But there we are. You live and learn, don't you? But I didn't want to buy this and then not have enough, and have to go all the way back to Clacton-on-Sea to buy some more. So it's worth having, I think. And I might be able to use it on some of the other bits of this layout, or even upstairs possibly. So what I'm going to do with the remaining paint is to paint out all these areas that haven't been done, as you can see. So I won't paint here and here until these are laid. So I'm only going to paint this bit here. Now you might notice I've got a bit there that isn't painted, and that is where the bridge is meant to go. So more on the bridge a little bit later in this video. So there's still a lot of paint in my pot, which I've got nowhere else to use it. I did decide to just paint as much as I could, but obviously leaving my marks on for where my pins go. So that's what I've done. And the other thing I needed to do was, I did notice after I painted the sleepers with this acrylic paint on this bit of track that I can't take outside, that it didn't really do the edge of the rails. So if I just tip this up, and it's still wet I would imagine, I have tried to do that, perhaps not too successfully, but remember I am going to hopefully put some rust along the edges of these rails, so I will do the same in the fiddle yard. Now you might think it's strange me scenic the fiddle yard, but the back scene when I put it in will actually run into this fiddle yard, so I might be able to use it, you know, in some scenes as, you know, a carriage siding or something like that. We don't know. So it's always worth just hedging your bets and doing what you can. And obviously to do this afterwards will be impossible. So I think it's working. And I'm really glad I didn't have to paint all the track with this paint, because the spray paint is eminently better, even if it is horrible stuff. But I'm certainly not worth buying another canister just to do a little bit here. So the weather is far too bad outside now for getting this track ready to stick down. So we'll come back to it when the weather's a bit better, which I think might be quite a few days. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm still having my walks, and I saw this on a lamppost on the way down. I've not seen this before. I suppose it was there. Yeah, interesting.
And my usual route onto the beach was blocked by the water again. So I had to go up to the next set of steps, did that. And it was nice. That's somebody swimming there with a wetsuit on. I suspect they're in training for something or other, I would imagine. That's what they usually do when they run along the bay like that. But it's nice to have a wetsuit on. And yeah, the ships are still there. So I thought you might like to see the waves beating against the shore. It's a nice rhythmic sound, isn't it? And yeah, I enjoyed doing this, I must admit. And you can see I got a nice band of sand to walk along, which is quite comfortable. Close to the stones, albeit they are very small stones. And if we look out to sea, it's a bit of a grey day, and it's not particularly rough, is it? Yeah, there we are. That's where I've come from. And the pan in here, there was a boat area, and when I last saw it, before I managed to film it, it was sort of quite a crazy angle. What I quite liked was, yeah, this was left by a little lad, I think, or a lady. So, what else? So, if you remember, I bought this a while ago, and I thought, can I use it? I've got the stuff that I bought recently for the track, but could I do it like this, you know, and use that big grain stuff in between the tracks? And then, you know, static grass and that in between. What do you reckon? I'd like your opinions, please. Yeah, the colour of the ballast on the track is not so good, is it? But never mind.
Well, everybody, in front of you, because the day is looking a bit fairer today, at least until this afternoon, and the sun's out at the moment, almost, I'm going to get on and do this. And the first thing you need to do, as you probably saw on Chadwick Module Railways, is you need to protect your connections here from the spray. So whether the spray can is going to deliver any spray, I don't know. I've got it in the warm to try and help it. But the first one I did with masking tape. And I've got to say that wasn't very successful. More on that later on. So, but I did work out that you need to use something else. So I used the blue tack. Black tack's probably a bit too much, but the blue tack worked. So take a little bit off and just roll it with your finger on a flat surface, and you get it like that. And for me, I've found the best thing to use to get it on there is little electrical screwdriver. So just push it in there like that, and push it against the rail. And I find that works quite well. If I can just keep it as close as you can, and then obviously you need a piece on the moving bit, basically. So again, just use the screwdriver to do that. Now obviously you've seen that that's moved that off of there, so just put it back again, and that's ready to go. And then the other side, we just need something over the two. Now I think Charlie Bishop at Chadwick said you didn't really need to do anything with this. But then remember, he's using posh Pico points, and I've got the cheap old Hornby ones, or the Bachmann ones, or whatever. So I think it's worth doing that as well. So that's it, that's ready. So all that remains to be seen now is to take this out and give it a spray. So we'll move out there, shall we? So as you can see, I've put my old tea towels out on the table to protect it, and moved all the chairs out the way. One thing I've done differently on this that I did on the others is I have actually put some blue tack on these fish plates, because that's going to be connected to the power rail at the moment, isn't it? So I think if I got spray all in that, it wouldn't help the connectivity, would it? So we're all ready to spray. So I'm going to put this on the tripod, and we'll just see if I do get anything out of this can of spray grime. I hope I can, a little bit anyway. But it's quite cool out here, so it probably won't help, but we'll see how it goes. So give it a good shake. I've shaken it a lot inside while it's warm. I put a cloth around it to try and keep it warm, and we'll have a go, shall we? Let's see how we go. Could I get anything out of it? Not a lot. I was worried about that. Keep going. Might just about make it. So a bit from the other side. Keep it shaking, not stirred. I've flooded that a bit. We don't really need to do it that much, but I just thought it was going to run out. So that'll do us. So I'm pleased with that. I'm glad that I've actually managed to do it. There's some little bits here that are missing. There we go, there we are. So it's a case letting this dry a bit and then wiping off the top of the rails. Well everybody, I brought it in here because it's cold out here. Don't do what I've just done, which is basically flood it with too much, to be honest. But I was a bit nervous, so I'm just going to see if I can wipe off the excess off the top. And this is ordinary kitchen roll, basically, and just run along, and that's all we need to do, hopefully. And the other side. And I find if you wrap it up like I've wrapped it up, you only hit the bits you want to hit. As you can see, that's actually come apart almost there. So let's have a go at this point. I thought that might happen, he says. And just give it all a nice wipe off. And yes, I definitely did too much on here. But it will get there in the end. I think I might take it into the actual house, you know, into the dining room lounge, because it's warmer in there, to give it a chance to dry. That bit of track I did before, you know, with the paint. Look, it's here, because I've got the wires sitting here, haven't I? So there's my track rubber. It's basically a very worn out sanding block, and I find it does a good job. Now I'm sure all the aficionados are going to say, well, it's scratching your rails. Well, maybe, but you know, my rails up in the loft have been running for 6 years and they haven't been doing too badly using that. I don't tend to use track rubbers. Although I used to do this outside, just roughing up the surface, it's really cold out there with a strong wind, so I come in here and keep me warm, and it's easier, better for the camera. So as you can see, I've put a tea towel down, and I'm just going to give that a rub. And that's really all I think you need. It's just to in a way score it a bit and just take the plasticky bit off to give the glue a bit more of a purchase. So that's that bit done. So I just need to do the point now, which is still drying. So having taken off the glue tack, rolls out using a little electrical screwdriver or whatever you want to use on that. And don't throw it away, just put it back with the glue tack. You can still use it. It's no good, no need to throw it away. So if you remember, I did protect this end, didn't I? And you can see that looks quite clean. I didn't do this end, and of course that's all part of the conductivity to the rest of the layout. So probably have to just give this a little clean out before I assemble it. And it is taking an awful long time to dry this. I really did flood that one. I did wipe out the spray that was in here, because it could affect it, I think, you know, a bit of thickness in there. So I'm just going to turn this over and do the same as I did with the bit of straight track, and just give it a rub with the glass paper. So as for the fish plates, I felt that these were going to take too much cleaning up, so I pulled them off. And as you can see, put some new ones on, a lot quicker. So hopefully that'll be okay. But it's only until I put all the droppers in. Once I get all the droppers, the fish plates are just there to hold the rails together, not to actually conduct the signals. So everybody, the time has come to glue these down. Now, what I've found the best way for this is, because I've got to get the wire here through the hole on the point, it's better to do each piece separately. So first thing, I'm going to put some glue on the point, and this is what I've been using, and it seems to be working really well. And it is rubbery. I'll show you in a minute those little bits that I used to see to how long it would take to go off. And I think today it's going to take a lot longer because it's colder. So let me rip off the masking tape and we'll get on. Along those, between under the rails and all across the, well, obviously taking care not to get a lot of glue over here, isn't there, you know? So let's have a go. And there we are. Oh, a little bit there I've missed, look. So there we are. So now it's a case of just manipulating it into position. And what I found is if I use the cable to do it, it's a bit easier. So I'm having to go at an angle. Can be a bit fiddly at times. And then feed it in at the same time with getting my head in the way of the camera, seeing how we're doing. And I don't know why, it's maybe because I'm on camera. I found that quite difficult. And then once I've got it in, as you can see, push it up as fast as I can and see if I can find the pinholes. And if I start at this end, yes, there's one. Pleasing, there we are, when it actually goes in like that. So you've seen what I do. I'm not going to show you all of doing this bit. Obviously got to do this bit next, and then those two there, and then I'll come back to you.
So having glued all this up ready, simple case, isn't it, of just placing it in the fish plates on the end of the point and then pinning it down. So yes, it should be that, but it can be quite difficult to see where the pin goes in, and if you don't get it dead over the hole, it won't go in. You can push all you like, it's too hard. So it does take a little while, and I've cut this a bit, as you might be able to tell. And yeah, I've got it in, so it's pretty good. And it's just a case of working along then, which I did. And there we are. That's all in. And then I pat it down just to sort of squash any glue out. You know, there are blobbles of glue, aren't there? That was good. So I did have a problem when I first did this, that if you don't take the point changing wire out low enough, the books hit on that, not on the track, so I had to do that. So as you can see here, I'm just putting all my mats out. Put the mats out because the books tend to bow over, so I felt this was a better way of doing it, so that's what I did. And yeah, great. So with the track laid and glued down, as you saw, and all my books that have been taken down from the shelving for first time in a long time. Last thing to do is just put some of the glue here and tend to circle it, as you've seen, and the latest or last. I will come out periodically and see how this is doing. Now I think it's going to take quite a bit of time today. But if I just show you with this bit here, when it goes off,
as you can see, it is spongy, which is, I think, what Copydex is like and what Mr. Bishop from Chadwick Module Railway is like. Now, whether this is having any effect on the noise transmission, I don't know. Obviously, he has track bed down first, a cork or whatever he uses. So I just need to wait for that to go, that colour. And then all my track is glued down. And I must say that this glue that I bought from the local haberdashery in the town has served me well, and there's still a load in there. So I can probably use this on other things. It does glue very well. We'll see how we go. Yeah, great. Pleased I bought that.
So, any problems? Yes, there were quite a few actually. I was surprised. So, as you saw, we had to do this to stop all the points sort of not doing the connectivity. This is what it looks like after you sprayed it and you take it out. And then, as you can see, it looks, it's difficult to get a picture, but it is clean, you know, it's worked.
So the major problem I had doing all this is because I was new to spraying the track and everything, it did give me continuity problems. And the way I sort of sorted this out was using my multimeter there that you can see here. And if you set it to the 200 ohm setting that's got like a little loudspeaker symbol by it, if you have a look, I'll take a photo and show you the dial a bit more.
So you can see I'm pointing to where you need to set it, and you can see the sort of loudspeaker emblem, and this is where you need your leads plugged in, so pretty straightforward.
And then what this actually does is it gives you a bleep when you get the two touching, which means if you put it on a bit of track here and a bit of track there, it will bleep. Now what I was finding was the clips that I've got in the point, which are here, look, you can hardly see them now, and which I'm hoping to lose when I do all the droppers. If it's working and the switchblade is away from the main rail, as it is here, if you touch that one and that one, then those clips should be transferring the power. And if you then just touch that one and that one, that will show that you're getting power into that one. And then if you switch the blade the other way, there we are. So I was having to do this on all these points, and some of them were not working. Even one of the new ones didn't seem to work properly, and it was giving me awful problems, but we sorted it, and that's what it's all about. But as I say, I'm hoping to lose these clips when I put all the droppers in. Just a case of feeding power to most of the rails. Might be a few wires, but I think I'll probably be happier doing it.
So even this simple thing caused me a lot of problems, so have a watch of this, you wouldn't believe it. So as you saw, my delivery arrived, and that's really where my problem started. It was great that the driver arrived only 5 minutes after the first time he could have arrived at, which is great. It lets me get on with this. And what I wanted to do was to get this next bit of track in with its crossover point and join it up down here. So fine, I thought. Aha! What I didn't realise, and maybe I should have done, is that this original point that I used, this one that I wanted to replace, was a Pico one. And what I didn't realise is if you put the two together, look where the switchblade is. So I set everything out for this, and because I want to replace it, and maybe I should have just left it in, but whatever, caused me a problem. So what does that happen? So I had to shorten this bit here to bring it down so that the switchblade goes in the right place. But then that throws all my alignment out. As you can see, the rail should run along that line. And on this bit that used to fit, if I move that around there, you can see it's a little bit shy. So I've got to just redo. Now I was hoping to use this long straight, this Hornby long straight here, but I can't now, because if I do that, it goes over sort of like that to get it to line up with the point. So yeah, it caused me problems. But anyway, let's carry on, and it won't hurt because there's no platform the other side, and it actually give me a bit more room here for my coal depot, won't it? So I'll carry on and we'll persevere. But you never ever know with this hobby what's going to be thrown at. So as you can see here, I even had to move over the under-track coupler, which I wasn't pleased about, but never mind. And here's a montage of all the books moving around the layout as I stuck all this track down. So yeah, great. But they did a good job. They do work, I must admit. And you know, sometimes you put them on edge to fill up the gap, which worked. So what we're going to do next? So in the next episode, I need to sort out this rail bridge, I think, and see if what I'm thinking is going to work will work. And then we can get on with a bit more of the work, can't we? So thanks for watching, everybody, and watch out for the next one. Cheers.